The last police officer in Lansing, Michigan has been killed.
So we're headed to West Virginia.
It looked like a big cat, so I just called it a drooler.
God damn it.
Jesus Christ, who taught you how to drive?
I'm self-taught.
Yeah, I could tell. Tree!
Yeah, there's lots of trees.
Tuck and roll!
Back of my head. How'd you not go flying?
I just like... Hold on.
Oh, congratulations on crashing our only mode of transportation in the middle of nowhere.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ, I can't deal with you. Do you have any idea where we are at all?
Nope.
Better up to 7 here, I'm getting violent.
So if you watched my last video, you could probably tell I didn't like Just Cause 1 very much. But I did bring up a few too many times that it would get better with the sequel, and lo and behold, here is the sequel. So something I didn't do was talk about the ending of Just Cause 1. I'll make this quick. Basically, we killed Mendoza. Anyway, after Rico goes into retirement, but then the company that made the game was bought by Square Enix and was swiftly brought out of retirement, Tom Sheldon, our best friend, has gone rogue from the agency to go off to do who knows what. So now it's up to Rico and Woman to go assassinate him. This is already a much better plot setup than Just Cause 1 because I can actually comprehend what's going on half the time. And also creates this big internal struggle with Rico. Tom Sheldon basically taught Rico everything he knows, and now he has to assassinate him for his job. But we don't get too much time to sit on that fact because we're getting gunned down by natives. And in the process of us getting shot at, a bunch of PDAs fall out of the helicopter, and Rico has to recover them because they have sensitive data on them. So if we go to the first mission, that isn't really the first mission. It isn't too interesting, just go grab the 5 things. But what is interesting is Rico's new controls. Dear God, they are so much better. For one, Rico can actually grapple to things that aren't just vehicles now, thank God. That also means you can open your parachute from pretty much anywhere, so that makes traversal a lot better. His jump is a lot higher, so Rico basically has moon physics. He no longer has his dualies, instead he has a melee where he slings his grappling hook at people. You can grab people with the grappling hook, bringing them towards you or just pulling them off ledges, and you can tether the two things together with the grappling hook. All that is to say your options are wickedly better for how you deal with enemies. But anyway, you grab the PDAs and boogie out of there. Also something of note, you can actually grapple to helicopters now. Thank God, you do not realize how annoying that was before. Welcome to the island of Pinau. First things first, we're on a quest to go find Gambler McAlcoholic before he gets shot for being a gambler, I guess. This is your first proper mission, and it's pretty okay. It's as introductory as an introductory mission can get. So it's pretty bare bones, but dear God, I'll take anything over the missions of Just Cause 1. After grabbing him and jumping out a window, you get properly introduced to how the winch works, which we already went over. You can take the grappling hook, instead of immediately releasing the button, you can hold it and tether tilling to something else, and Viola, basically just some rope. Now that's pretty lame, but I really like what you're able to do with it immediately after it's introduced. How did I swim? Something I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about how the grappling hook is better now is instead of the grappling hook just being another weapon Rico can cycle to, it is completely attached to his left arm. So now you can grapple to things and shoot at the same time. I'll talk about it more later, but the gameplay flow is incredible. I'm not sure if I'll talk about it later. I'm not sure if I wrote that down or not. I really like how the first mission of Just Cause 1 and 2 both end the same way, but instead of just holding down the shoot button and letting the game play itself, you actually get, oh geez, I don't know, to play the video game? So Mr. Alcoholism takes our PDA and puts some waypoints on it for us. These are the locations of the 3 factions which will be prevalent throughout the rest of the game. So instead of Just Cause 1's revolutionary mission structure of go to this level, beat this level, go to this level, beat this level, go to this level, beat this level, you're free to go do whatever you want and help whatever faction you want at any time. So essentially, the game is open to you almost the entire time, which, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, is f***ing awesome. They're not just some two-dimensional lackeys either. They all have their motivations for what they're doing and why they do it. The Reapers want to reclaim Pinau for their people, the ULR boys want to do the same, and the Roaches just want money. Also, the leader of the ULR boys is the best video game character ever. I'm sorry, but that's just fact. I can't really talk about the missions the same way as I did with Just Cause 1, since you can literally do any mission from any of the 3 factions at any time. I mean, obviously there's an order you have to do them, and you can't just go from level 8 to level 2, then to level 4, but I'm saying you can be like 5 missions deep into helping the Reapers, and then decide to do level 2 for the Roachers. Roachers? But no matter which faction you choose, the first mission is always the same. Well, that was at first. You see, these are what is known as a stronghold takeover. It's basically just an escort mission, but every time you do one of these, the respective faction gets a new area of the map they have dominance over. And from then on, it's just a matter of helping each respective faction get dominance in each respective area. So unlike last time, I'm not going to go mission by mission. Instead, I'm just going to talk about whatever I can smoothly transition into.
I can't take this anymore. We've been walking for hours. We've been walking for exactly 4 minutes. Give me that map! Let's see here. Yeah, just give me a few minutes to figure out where we are.
Okay, so let's just start going down the list of things that Just Cause 2 does better than 1. Number 1, there's actual things to do. After every mission is complete, this giant laundry list of side stuff to do gets added. They're mostly just races, but the races actually have purpose instead of just being there for the sake of being there. I'm not sure if the races were done with anything but that wasn't just cars before, but it's also done with helicopters, planes, and boats now. I'm unsure because I only did one of them since I couldn't stand it the last game. Since it's actually kind of enjoyable to control the cars this time, I want to actually do the street races. That's not the only thing you can do that isn't story related though. Sometimes when you're wandering around, you'll find these Juggernaut guys surrounded by some lower level grunts. IDK the game tells me to kill them and I do as the crystal guides. There's actual incentive to doing these things too. See, you're not just rewarded with the empty feeling you get inside after not being rewarded like the last game, you actually get a bunch of cash this time. And said cash can be used for the new and improved heavy drop. I brought it up briefly last time because it wasn't that important, but there's now a better version of the heavy drop. All the heavy drop did last time was either extract you or let you summon one of 4 vehicles. Yippee. Yeah, it was pretty lame. But this time you can order everything. See, there's this guy in a helicopter that goes by the name of Sloth Demon that's definitely not just Tom Sheldon with a voice changer. They haven't even revealed that at the time of me writing this part of the script. That's just that obvious. Anyway, Tom will come down and give you anything you like for a price. This can range from guns, vehicles, extraction to any town you visited, and whatever random BS he also happens to have in his arsenal. His arsenal of goodies is pretty limited at first, but you can expand it by doing certain things like clearing missions and stuff. Speaking of missions, after doing enough freelancing for the 3 groups, another plot progressing agency mission opens up. I didn't mention it before, but after doing enough gun for hire missions for whatever the respective faction wants you to do, something known as an agency mission will open up, which are required and progress the plot. Like this one, you have to blow up 3 satellites and then rush to the rocket as the 4th one goes into orbit. I don't care, this tops whatever Just Cause 1 was trying to do tenfold. Anyway, now that I'm done with that tangent inside of a tangent, we can move to our 3rd agency mission. We have to go save another random guy from getting killed because he's also a gambler. I'm seriously noticing a pattern over at Square Enix. He has info about a white tiger fella that has gained some notoriety for being a fat American and blowing blow darts at senators, then driving away in his car screaming profanities. God, I love this game. Unsurprisingly, the white tiger sounds a lot like someone we've been searching for, so we need to go stop the execution. Dude, I swear few shooters will ever match the amount of fun I had with this one part with a revolver gunning down like 20 people. The gunplay in Just Cause 2, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just euphoric. Anyway, we make our escape on some motorcycles, and Gambler 2 leads us to where the white tiger was last seen before boogieing out of there. Turns out that Sheldon has left us a file on the PDA where he rambles about nothing for 30 seconds, and he tells us to go meet him in the jungle. He then knocks you out of the blow dart for no reason and gives you the rundown of everything that's been happening. Turns out Sheldon heard some rough stuff going on the island, and apparently the leader Pendak Pede has been up to no good. So he went undercover to try to figure it out, and the agency saw this as him diverting, and sent Rico to go and stop him. After helping Sheldon defeat a bunch of shoulders, after helping Sheldon defeat a bunch of soldiers who had it out for them, he basically just tells you to keep getting friendly with the locals and pisses off.
Yep, we're gonna die out here. Hey, did you bring any food in that bag of yours? No.
Without a good segue whatsoever, do you remember the second mission of Just Cause 1 where you had to liberate those 2 bases for military control? Well, that is returned in a brand new light, and it's actually fun. For those who didn't remember before, it was literally just throwing through 3 identical barricades with infinitely respawning troops who had to stop you, and then you had to raise some flag at the end or do some random other thing. Safe to say, it wasn't great. But this time, they've changed it completely. Now you have a percentage meter on the top left for how much base has been liberated, and now you have to go around destroying different government objects to fully clear it, such as anti-air guns, generators, radio tower, the whole shebang. Which makes it so much fun to do these. You even get a little check on your map when you complete one. It's a lot of fun running around, finding a base in the middle of nowhere, and blowing up everything. But to fully complete a base liberation, you don't need to just destroy everything. You also need to find every hidden thing within it. This can be collections of cash, weapon parts, or vehicle parts. Vehicle parts and weapon parts allow you to upgrade already unlocked things from Uncle Shelly. For example, you can upgrade the revolver to do even more damage if you have enough weapon parts. Of course I dumped all my vehicle parts on the only thing that mattered, the ice cream machine. And then I proceeded to crash into a river 3 times on 3 separate occasions. And these bases are just literally everywhere, which actually gives this big open world things to do, thank God. I mean, of course, this is street races, like I already mentioned earlier, and killing random people because you're bored. But this gives something a lot more meaningful to work towards. Speaking of the big open world, the developers actually learned that foreign countries aren't just entirely made of tropical grasslands, and that's it. Yes, we actually get diversity in our areas, like the desert from the last agency mission, or the snowy tundra where the Reapers reside mostly, or this one beach town. This combined with there being something new to find around every corner really makes the game feel like, jeez, I don't know, an actual open world. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop referring to Just Cause 1 now. Okay, well actually one last time. See, if you were looking at the map, you might have noticed that there's a strange island in the top left, disconnected from everything else. Well, an airplane carrying cargo was shot down on that island, and the Ular boys need you to retrieve it. And while you're flying over there, the plane gets shot down and loses communications to the mainland because of this strange tower. You find the pilot who is sending a smoke signal, and he explains that everyone here is just a bunch of Japanese soldiers from World War II who still believe the war is going on. Equipped with a bunch of muskets, cannons, and last but not least, a giant fucking electrical tower. But anyway, we need to go around destroying the two smaller ones so we can attack the bigger one. Naturally. And communication gets restored, yay! Now you might be wondering, besides this being a cool mission, why am I bothering to talk about it so much? Well, that's because it's the return of the fucking cargo mission, baby! Last time we were around here, it was the biggest piece of smelly shit that has ever been shattered, but in Just Cause 2, it's fun. No, like genuinely, it's actually fun. For one, you're not being constantly gunned down, which makes it automatically better. But this time it's actually about trying to keep everything in the truck instead. They made the conscious decision to make the truck hard to control on purpose, making the slippery and winding roads of the island the main challenge. So luckily, if you are a viewer of mine who is an atheist, you no longer have to pray to God to make it past the cargo mission. Safe to say, I actually had fun. You know, a sequel's good when they remade the worst level from the first and actually made it one of the best. I don't understand how Avalanche simply switching publishers from Eidos Interactive to Square Enix made such a big difference in game quality, but holy shit, man.
That's it, I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna find my way out of the forest. If you just like to sit there all day and play with your dick, that's fine, but I'm gonna go find my way out of here. Where am I? How many days have been? How do I...
Yep, I'm gonna die out here. Anyways, I'm pretty sure there's a plot going on at some point, so let's get back to that. So Sheldon and the agency have kissed and made up, and now we're given the objective of heading to a military base and blowing things up. And maybe saving that one girl from the first mission along the way too. I don't understand how I'm supposed to talk about this mission in depth when it's literally just blowing things up with a helicopter. So I'm not going to. After we fight off some actual ninjas, God I love this game, we get the emo lady back to the base where she spills the beans about who's really pulling the strings on the island.
Alexander Myakov, formerly Soviet Secret Service. He's a trained killer with links to every mob working the New Russia. But whether he's rogue or a Moscow stooge, your guess is as good as mine.
Oh my goodness.
What we do know is that he's in deep with the roaches.
Both share a taste in shiny suits and fat jewelry, I bet.
Number 2 is the Chinese sadist Zhang Sun, a former military intelligence chief. Modern China likes to keep guys like Zhang hidden, but available. His Maoist talk of people power and industrial revolution has got the Reapers eating out of his greasy palm.
Nothing more dangerous than a crackpot ideologist.
Except an ex-commie with gangster friends.
Though I'm guessing you saved the best to last.
Right, mister. This ex-general is certainly no saint. His name is Masao Washio. He was ejected from the Japanese army for torturing his own men. Washio's motto is said to be, pain is good, death is better. He's backed by a bunch of neocon industrialists and has hooked up with the tribal Ura boys. They sure must be impressed by this maniac.
Ular boys, I trusted you! Yeah, so the general gameplay loop at this point has pretty much cemented itself. You have enough missions from different factions in order to fill up the agency mission meter, then go do an agency mission and repeat. It's really that simple, I'm sorry. Luckily, this has yet to get boring for me because the gameplay itself is just immaculate. I already talked about Rico's new controls, specifically with the grappling hook, but I just love how the grappling hook works in tandem with all of his other moves. It makes it so easy to parachute down to somebody, then grapple them and reel in off that person. I definitely do not think it should work like that, but it does and it's awesome. Or like dual wielding, that's just cool from the outset. Everything just works. Sometimes. Yeah, even though I've talked pretty highly about this game, it still has some coveted Just Cause jank.
My friend, I live under the fear of one terrible disease. poverty.
You know about the
Those
faction
nosy
leaders,
government
yes?
agents are again
But
trying to
some words
ruin
of
me by
warning to
sabotaging
you.
our drug
The one
refineries
they
in
call
the
the
city.
Razor is the
If
most
these places are
dangerous of
destroyed,
them all.
dope fiends would
Of
buy
all
their
the
junk
roaches, he
elsewhere,
is the most
and it would
deserving
lose
of
us a
that
great
name.
deal of
For he
business.
cuts men's
You
throats
must
for
stop the
pleasure and
sabotage
washes
by
in their
disarming all
blood.
their bombs, and thus keep me from catching that terrible disease.
Great. I really understood that well. Oops, sorry, just excuse me, trying to get to the control panel here. Oh, sorry, yeah, if you just move out of the way. Oh, yep, there we go. I'll consider that a mercy kill. Yeah, the game is pretty broken, but honestly, I'm having so much fun where it comes off as funny more than frustrating. Anyway, after 2 more hours of doing random-ass missions, we get our 5th agency mission. It just so happens that the 3 powerhouses from earlier have gathered at the Three Kings Hotel without the others even knowing they're there, which is a perfect opportunity. Jesus Christ, he has a tank on the roof. Welcome to America! The Chinese guy was pretty easy to take down. You already know what happened to the Russian guy, and we ended off with the Japanese guy, who just opts to pulling out a giant space cannon and bombing Rico. He pulled his Japanese f***ing dick out, and he pissed on my f***ing wife. Anyway, now the third Axis power has been defeated, and the game still needs a reason for Rico to do faction missions. Sheldon tells us to go keep getting friendly with the boys and dismantle them from the inside. Because of course. Before we wrap up this little shindig, let's just talk about my last and favorite thing about this game. Its charm. How can you not love it? Rico swearing in Spanish, I think that's Spanish, every time he gets injured, how every time you go to where Tom Sheldon's makeshift HQ is, he's always barbecuing the same stuffed pig. Or my personal favorite, the radio broadcaster. Almost every time you clear a mission or just blow shit up and liberate an area, this little dude will come onto the radio and spew some made-up nonsense and tell a fake story about what really happened. Like how the glorious Panau military soldiers managed to entirely evaporate Rico with their key aiming. I love this dude, give him a promotion. But now we can move on to our final agency mission. So Uncle Sheldon has found where Baby Panny has been hanging out. Yeah, it's literally just one part of the map we haven't explored yet. So the game gives us the ability to rush towards the Eye of the Storm with whatever faction you want, which is awesome. Yeah, you already know I chose the UR boys, like come on, how could I not? Now me and the boys gotta storm the beaches in Normandy. I will say, this has been 100 times funner since the shotgun has realistic physics and not just the 2-foot range in most modern video games. I mean, God, just cause has realism. Dang, I wonder where his hideout could be. We make it inside, and it turns out the whole motive behind this, f***ing oil, baby. And then Mr. Alcoholism, who is somehow alive, and we haven't seen since the first mission, appears out of nowhere and immediately blows himself up. Awesome. And Baby Panic dies in the explosion as well. Wink. Yeah, he's immediately back in a ginormous submarine. Also, the music in this game, just like the first one, has been really nothing to remark on, except for this one theme near the end when you're taking on the submarine. That's pretty good.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Your bird won't last long against that sub, Hyundai. Better get down and personal. Miss Tyler, wait.
Anyway, we throw a wrench into the works by coming in and thwarting the plans of the very much alive dictator. And this is the most lame boss that has ever lamed. I kinda just sat here underneath this ledge and let him blow himself up.
Ah, you think you have won?
That would be my impression.
I have news for you. I have 4 nuclear missiles ready to blow. So if the Chinese, Japanese, or Russians try to screw me, well, they're in for a nasty surprise.
And the 4th?
What do you think? It is of course pointed at the very wart on the face of the earth, America. And with this, I take my leave. I told you, I am invincible!
Yep, this is officially the coolest game ever. This isn't even hard in the slightest, but like, come on, look at this. You're riding on top of missiles while having a gunfight. Is this not the best game ever?
Beloved oil after all.
New target acquired.
What are you doing with the guidance system?
Oh, just a few minor changes.
Rico,
Still ain't sure why you nuked the damned oil field. You lost your mind, buddy?
The spoils of our little revolution. That fossil sludge would have started the mother of all wars. And you know something, Sheldon? I'm not gonna die in no apocalypse. Just so some fat cat in Washington can drive his SUV to the hill tomorrow.
I don't think the agency's gonna be smiling. Do you have any idea how much that oil was worth?
Sure. But it ain't worth dying over.
Damn, Rico, that's as just a cause as any.
He said that Just Cause 2 is just one of those games, right? One of those games that will forever be timeless and great in my eyes, like Mario 64, Mega Man X, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, Super Metroid, Portal 2, Halo 3, Sonic Adventure 2, Resident Evil 4, and now Just Cause 2. All of these games in my eyes will always and forever be timeless masterpieces. Just Cause 2 definitely won't be on a lot of people's top 10 lists, nor do I think it really excels in any of the big categories of gaming. Open world, it's good but not fantastic. Gunplay, yet again, I really like it, but it's not winning any awards here. But the one thing it just excels at is just pure fun. Flying to an island in the middle of nowhere for a big Tomb Raider reference, which I learned was a Tomb Raider reference after scripting that part. Blowing up random bases you came across, it all just comes together to make this one of my favorite games ever.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. But I have good news. Not only did I find a way out of the forest, but I found a replacement for the puma.
Alright, I'll bite what...
So what do you...
That is a f***ing donkey!
I'm sorry, but genuinely, where the fuck did you get that? You know, around... You know what, I don't even care, because that thing is our ticket out of this place. There is one problem, though. One, it's a single-seater. Shit! Well, how are you supposed I ride, then?